News at 6 starts with a breaking news alert.
That breaking news is out of Petersburg this evening, where police are investigating an officer-involved shooting just outside of a Wawa. Thank you for joining us. I'm Candace Burns.
And I'm Bill Fitzgerald. Our senior reporter Wayne Koval joins us now live from South Crater Road, where it happened. And Wayne, what can you tell us tonight?
Well, Bill, I can tell you this started around 12:40 down in Sussex County in the town of Jarrett when there was an alleged abduction of two people at a convenience store there. Now, a few minutes later, a Petersburg officer on the lookout for a Pontiac spots that car right here at this Wawa at the intersection of Crater and Wagner Road. Now, the crime scene, as you can see, is still being processed. That police officer from Petersburg looks for backup and gets backup from Prince George County. While those two officers are talking to the people in that car, that's when gunfire erupts. Now, take a look at this video from earlier today. You can see that there was just a ton of police officers who had arrived on scene to try to make out and figure out exactly what had happened here at this Wawa. Now, after the shooting, the suspect who was shot took off running to a nearby apartment complex where he was later apprehended by a Petersburg police officer. The officer who did the shooting here at the Wawa is a Prince George County police officer. Now, Prince George County police have called in the Virginia State Police to do the investigation into this officer-involved shooting. Now, the suspect who was shot and apprehended by Petersburg police was taken to Southside Regional Medical Center with non-life-threatening injuries. He's now been transferred to VCU Medical Center. The two other people that were in the car, they stayed on scene for several hours. They have now left that scene. Now, the Sussex County Sheriff's Office is handling the abduction case in Sussex County, and again, the Virginia State Police handling the officer-involved shooting by a Prince George officer here at the Petersburg Wawa. We'll have more on this story on WTVR.com. Working for you in Petersburg, Wayne Koval, CBS 6 News.
Thank you, Wayne. And we also have breaking news out of Richmond. Police say they need your help to find this missing man. They say 67-year-old Leland George was last seen Friday on East Ladies Mile Road. He was wearing a burgundy plaid shirt, pajama pants, a tweed hat, and flip-flops. If you have seen him, call 911. And remember, whenever there's breaking news, you can be alerted right away by downloading our free CBS 6 app.
A very gray and rainy day out there this evening.
Any prospects for change? Let's check in now with Zach in the Backyard Weather Center. Zach?
Well, it'll be slow to change, but I do expect us to see better weather as we get into tomorrow. Today makes 3 straight days of gray and wet weather. Let me show you what we've got outside right now. And drizzle doesn't show up very well on radar, but it is there. In fact, you can see just a little bit around the radar sites. There's not much there when you look up north, and even here in central sections, you can see a little bit every now and then, but there's more drizzle than what shows up on radar. That's just the nature of the droplets that make up the drizzle. They're very, very small, so radar doesn't see them very well. Not much going on across the eastern United States. We're just kind of locked in with that cooler and wetter air mass. Back to the west, you see those showers and storms, lines of them across Indiana. That is ahead of a cold front that will be moving into the area as we get into tomorrow. That's going to drive some drier air in. Right now we have 70 south and east of us. We have some upper 50s north and west. So some cooler air that's kind of locked in up against the mountains, and that is keeping that area pretty chilly up that way. And we'll see gradually warming conditions for tomorrow. Tonight, because of all the moisture around, we're not going to drop off very quickly. We may drop into the upper 50s for the overnight low. That is about it. So in some cases tonight, we'll stay in the 60s all night long. A relatively warm night for this time of the year. Looking at your forecast for tonight, 59 degrees with some patchy fog and drizzle, a northwest wind at 3 to 8 miles per hour. It will get warmer as we get into tomorrow. I do expect all areas to make it into the 70s as that drier air moves in. May see a little bit of sunshine as well. All right, I'll update you on what's happening down in the tropics and look ahead to the next strong storm system coming in by the end of the week. That's straight ahead.
Thank you, Zach. Breaking right now in our nation's capital, Senate hearings for Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett began today.
Cheryl Miller joins us in the studio now with a breakdown of what happened. Cheryl?
Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett credited the late conservative Justice Antonin Scalia, who was her mentor and for whom she clerked, with shaping her judicial policy.
Courts are not designed to solve every problem or right every wrong in our public life.
Judiciary Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham defended the Republican Party's decision to fast-track Barrett's confirmation hearings. But Democrats say with millions of votes already cast in the upcoming presidential election, the high court vacancy should not be filled until the election is decided, especially with the future of the Affordable Care Act, abortion rights, and even the election itself at stake. During her opening statement, Barrett, who is a federal judge and a law school professor, also praised the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg despite their differing ideologies.
I have been nominated to fill Justice Ginsburg's seat, but no one will ever take her place. I will be forever grateful for the path she marked.
Judge Barrett's supporters rallied outside the Supreme Court in the nation's capital today as those hearings got underway, while those opposed to her nomination protested in front of the Senate office building. If confirmed, Barrett would expand the high court's conservative majority to 6-3. Bill and Candace.
Thanks, Cheryl. Voters are supposed to be able to track their mail-in ballot every step of the way to make sure it's delivered and counted.
But a Henrico family tells the problem solvers they haven't received any updates on their ballot in weeks. Our Cameron Thompson looked into what might be causing the issue.
When early voting started this year, Jeffrey Duzak and his mother Barb decided to vote by mail.
Decided that was the best thing to do.
He says they both got and sent back their ballots in late September, but then his mother alerted him to an issue.
She told me, you better get yours in. It's showing it's still at your house. I was like, well, I've already put it in.
His mother was watching their ballots path on a website called Ballot Scout, run by the nonpartisan nonprofit Democracy Works. It tracks ballots using a special barcode and is on all mail-in ballots in Virginia. Duzak's status showed his scheduled for delivery, while his mother's was en route back to the registrar. Neither had been updated since September 20th or 23rd, respectively.
It would have felt a lot better to know that it was delivered or that it was moving along.
Talking with Jasenia Eliza with Democracy Works about the Duzak's issues, she says it's not on their end, as they rely on the United States Postal Service to scan that barcode at each stop along the way.
Without USPS scan data, we aren't able to provide any updates outside of that.
And Eliza says there could be a number of reasons a ballot isn't scanned at a particular point.
The USPS sometimes engages in a type of sorting that prevents the ballot from being scanned any further.
Eliza says they're passing along scan data to the State Board of Elections, who say they're aware of the issue and are working with USPS to improve scan rates. As for the Duzaks, CBS 6 checked with their local registrar and confirmed both ballots have been received.
Much relieved. That's no longer a concern for me, and I can move on with my life.
Now, we have reached out to the Department of Elections about this, but have not heard back. Meanwhile, if you do find yourself in this situation, officials say you can also track your ballot on the Department of Elections website by checking your registration status, or you can reach out to your local registrar's office directly. Working for you in Henrico County, Cameron Thompson, CBS 6 News.
Some good info there. And don't forget, we have information on where to vote, the deadlines, the candidates running for office, all on our 2020 Voters Guide. It's on our website. Just click WTVR.com and look for the Election 2020 button at the top of our homepage. And an update on the People's Debate between Senator Mark Warner and Republican Daniel Gade, which I'll be moderating, and Reba Hollingsworth will be a panelist. It was scheduled to air tomorrow night at 7 here on CBS 6. But since the NFL has moved the Bills-Titans game to that time slot, the debate will now air live on our digital channel 6.6, in addition to streaming live at WTVR.com. The complete debate will then air right here on CBS 6 after the game is over.
An effort to help Richmond city leaders cover the cost of removing Confederate statues has fallen short. You might remember it cost the city $1.8 million to take down 11 statues. A campaign kicked off back in July. It was called the Fund to Move the Monuments, and it asked for online donations from the community to fully cover the cost. Richmond BizSense reports the fund only raised $45,000, and the fundraising efforts are now over. The money will be transferred through a city ordinance. According to Richmond BizSense, a spokesperson for Mayor Stone